But we're going to begin with breaking news, and that is that the Swiss-French New Age film director Jean-Luc Godard has died. He was aged 91. Among other films, he was famously directed Breathless, starring Jean-Paul Belmondo. He was seen to be the godfather of the new wave cinema movement in the 1960s. The French President Emmanuel Macron having tweeted last hour that we've lost a national treasure, the eye of a genius. He was indeed a master of cinema. Earlier I spoke to France 24's movie critic Lisa Nesselson about the news of his death.
Giant, titan, get out your thesaurus and look for all of those works. We've had quite a spate of trailblazers of the second half of the 20th century that we've lost in just the last few weeks, days. Theater director Peter Brook, Her Majesty the Queen 2 days ago, American photographer William Klein, and today Jean-Luc Godard, whose name is synonymous with trailblazing cinema, someone who saw cinema as an opportunity to create a new language, a new grammar. It's very difficult to overestimate how striking a development it was when lightweight cameras and lightweight sound recording equipment were invented. It meant you were no longer tethered to really heavy metal things in studios with very strong lighting, and you needed a lot of hunky guys to move things around. You could go out into the streets. And the gentlemen of the French New Wave ran with that, went out into the streets of Paris. The most iconic image for the average person, probably Jean-Paul Belmondo and Jean Seberg walking down the Champs-Élysées together, her wearing her New York Herald Tribune T-shirt and hawking the newspaper in the streets of Paris. I don't think people will be clamoring to see Godard's body as they are with the Queen, but his body of work is going to be with us for a long, long time.
And he was also very much part of that May 1968 student protest movement, wasn't he?
Absolutely. He set out, he was very prolific in the beginning, starting in 1960. He made 15 films in, I think, 9 years, but he was very, very affected by the student protest movement of May 1968 and the national strikes. And he went from being, I mean, he always had a dark sense of humor, but he became sort of humorless and decided it was a filmmaker's job to translate the world around him. And if that resulted in movies that a lot of people might find tedious, so be it. Still extremely watchable is his documentary about the Rolling Stones in the studio recording the song Sympathy for the Devil. That is a real time capsule. And of course, he had his finger on the pulse of what might be interesting to us through the ages. He was also a very, very early adopter of videotape, not the crispy stuff we're used to now, not the television image you're looking at, but reel-to-reel videotape and what we would now call mashups, the fact that you could swipe images from all sorts of pre-existing sources, put them together and make something new. He was really fascinated with that. Like all of the guys in the French New Wave, and they were guys except for Agnès Varda, very, very creative up to the very end, and a real example for finding your calling and sticking with it.
France 24's movie critic Lisa Nesselson speaking there about the death of one of France's cinema greats, Jean-Luc Godard.